What's going on, everybody? I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link is down in the box below. I'm not too happy in this one, not because of the game on Saturday and not because it's inevitable that this team is basically going to go one and done for the sixth straight time in the playoffs. But I'm mad because I had to re-record this video and my internet went out again because Spectrum is as trash as this team is right now. Okay. And I recorded a freaking 22-minute long video, and now I got to do it all over again because Spectrum sucks. Okay. So I'm not too happy right now. Anyway, getting on to this video. Do you guys know why? Do you guys know the reason why that the Steelers are not taken seriously anymore? And the reason that the Steelers are not feared and they're not respected anymore? It's quite simple because this standard and this culture that this franchise has right now, it's a mockery. And it's just settling for the bare minimum, and it's not about winning championships, and it's not about having a winning pedigree anymore. It really is sad that I have to sit down here a week before the playoffs start, okay? And I am recording this video on Sunday afternoon, all right? And basically consider this my preview for the wild card game against most likely the Ravens, all right? But really, it doesn't matter who we play because I don't expect this team to win at all in wild card weekend. So just consider this my preview video, all right? But anyway, the reason that the Steelers are not taken seriously anymore, and it seems like I make this video at least once a year, all right? The reason that they're not respected is because they don't care about winning championships. They don't care about deep playoff runs. They don't care about going far. They don't care about building up a winning culture. All they care about is job security, going for the bare minimum, and complacency. And there are 5 people in this video that I'm going to be getting into in this video that, in my opinion, are the biggest reasons why the Steelers are where they are right now. I mean, can you imagine what fan of any team goes on social media and talks about how their team is on a 4-game losing streak going into the playoffs? Like, can you imagine that? I don't care if you're a Steeler fan. I don't care if you're a Pats fan. I don't care if you're a Packers fan. I don't care if you're a Cowboys fan. I don't care if you're a Ravens fan. Hell, I don't care if you're a Bears, Browns, Jaguars, or Raiders fan. A 4-game losing streak to close out the regular season, especially when your team has a playoff game the following week, is unacceptable and inexcusable by anyone's standards. Okay? But these 5 people that I'm going to be getting into are the biggest reasons why this team is and why this franchise is where they are right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a once great, proud, and prolific franchise in the NFL, have become content with mediocrity and have become content with complacency and don't care about the playoffs anymore. That's what the Steelers have become. They're basically just a better version of the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's what the Steelers are now. But let's get on to what I need to say. First at bat is the quarterback, the current starting quarterback of this team, and it's Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, well, he looks pretty limited right now, and I've seen enough of him. I really have. I've seen enough of Russell Wilson, and I don't think any drive exemplifies more about what Russ has become and where he is in his career any more than the final drive that the Steelers had last night when they started at their own 22-yard line because the defense sacked Joe Burrow, forced the Bengals to punt, and we had to start at our own 22-yard line with a minute 51 to go in regulation, down by 2 points. And in 80 seconds, we could only get 18 yards. 18 yards in 80 seconds. That is absolutely pathetic that on a 7-play drive, you can only average 18 yards. That's barely under 3 yards a play than what the Steelers got. Mind-blowing. But let's talk about that absolute clown show of a drive that occurred to close out the game. Okay? How about Russell Wilson missing George Pickens on a wide open play? Now, granted, I am putting blame on both of those guys right there because George Pickens is a diva. He don't try hard. And that was my mindset on Pickens in the game last season against the Colts where he didn't block for Jaylen Warren. And all the times that he's been chirping at fans, he's been chirping at players, he's been trash talking everybody, when really he's just been exposed as the entitled, selfish, you know what that he is in the NFL. I've run out of expletives for him. He don't want to be here. So the way I see it, get out of here, boy. You're not a team player. And he missed the assignment on that play because he missed the throw by Russ. And it was a terrible throw by Russ on top of that, where he overshot him by a country mile on 3rd and 12 to set up 4th and 12. I mean, Russell Wilson put up some great chemistry with George Pickens all season, and now all of a sudden you mean to tell me that he's missing him? George Pickens last night, 1 catch, a big fat goose egg when it comes to reception yards. 0, nada, zilch. No receiving yards. So congratulations. If you're watching this video, you had as many receiving yards as George Pickens had. I had as many receiving yards than George Pickens. You had as many receiving yards as George Pickens. And this guy's our number 1 receiver? Are you kidding me? 1 catch, 0 yards. And then how about a couple plays before where Russ is scrambling in the pocket, and instead of running out of bounds like a veteran quarterback is supposed to do, I mean, after all, Russ has been in the league since 2012. Instead of running out of bounds, he tries to go up against a defender again. His memory must be really short because remember a couple weeks ago in the Ravens game where he tried to do the exact same thing at the goal line, tried to go up against a defensive player right there, and he ended up fumbling the ball? I mean, what did you think was going to happen? He got really lucky he didn't fumble this time. Instead of taking your chances at the goal line, he tries to go up against a defender. Low football IQ. Very low IQ there. Run out of bounds, save time on the clock, and keep fighting. Do you realize that in the third quarter, Russell Wilson only had 6 passing yards total in the third quarter, and it was on a check down to Najee Harris? So, yeah, Denver Bronco fans, go ahead. Denver Bronco fans in the comment section, go ahead. Do your victory lap. You guys were right. Russ is washed up. He is. Look, I like Russell Wilson. I always have. I've always been a fan of his. I think he's going to Canton. But let's face facts, guys. He's cooked. He's done. He's washed up. He's lost his best ability as a quarterback. He's a one-trick pony. He relies too much on the deep shots. He relies too much on big plays. He can't run like he used to. Okay, he's still taking a lot of unnecessary sacks. He can't avoid pressure. He's missing guys. He's not connecting on passes anymore. All right, Time to face reality. It don't matter what the Broncos are paying him. It don't matter what kind of contract that he has for us if he's on the veteran minimum. It don't matter that if he gave the offense a little bit more of a balanced attack when he came in for Justin Fields after week 6. It doesn't matter. He has lost his best abilities as a quarterback, and it's time for him to go. I am not bringing this guy back for another year next year. I'm just not. And that leads me into my next guy that I'm going to talk about, a guy that it's a shame I have to sit down here and say that I'm starting to doubt this guy after what he did for the organization in the offseason. I used to call him the con artist because he used to con other teams supposedly out of players that they had and added and make the team better for us. But now he's starting to become a con artist because he's conning the fan base into thinking that he's a competent GM and the moves that he's making are what's best for the franchise. And I'm talking about our general manager in Omar Khan. I'm really starting to doubt this guy. You cannot try and sell this fan base that a 37-year-old quarterback is going to be the starter for next season. You cannot convince me of that. You are not bringing Russell Wilson back. All these years under Kevin Colbert that you've supposedly been a good scout, having the one ability that Kevin Colbert didn't have, and is that you can scout better than he can. All the years that you've done a great job with the payroll for us, and that is so far translated into not being a good GM for this franchise because you overpaid the defense. You have missed out on these drafts. Yes, I'm saying it. These drafts that you've had since 2023 have not panned out well at all, or they've been middling to below average at the very best. Because unlike Kevin Colbert, can you name one guy that Omar Khan has drafted who has become not even a superstar, but a very good player at the very least? Can you name one? Of course you can't. And this is the guy that is going to be the GM of this franchise, who's going to be sitting up in the front office doing the drafts for us. There is no way you're bringing Russell Wilson back for another year next year. Because here we are again. Here we are. Wild card weekend is a week away, and we're sitting down here yet again talking about the damn QB room. The offseason that Omar Khan had. Getting rid of the QB room that we had the year before that was way worse than this year, or so we thought. And I know people are going to say, well, the Steelers overachieved this year with what Omar Khan did in the offseason. Get the hell out of here with that. Because let me tell you something about the overachieving, all right? From 2019 to 2023, the Steelers overachieved, okay? Because in 2019, Big Ben basically missed the whole season that year, needing major surgery, and the Steelers went 8-8 that season, playing musical chairs at quarterback that season, all right? Big Ben comes back in 2020, and the Steelers won 12 games that year behind a one-dimensional, predictable passing offense that was covered up by a non-existent run game and short passes to a trash wide receiver room that was covered up by a strong defense that completely imploded in the playoffs against the Browns, a team that didn't even have their head coach in that game, by the way. So 2020, they overachieved as well. 2021 and 2023, the team absolutely overachieved because Big Ben was only coming back because he was still owed money, and no QB in his right mind was going to walk away from what Big Ben was going to be owed, and he wanted to honor his contract, all right? And even then, I put blame a little bit on the front office right there, but at least it's understandable. It's kind of understandable with Ben right there because he was the franchise quarterback for the past 18 seasons, because he was the best option that we had going forward as far as the QB goes. And they didn't, and he just wanted to honor his contract. At least it was kind of understandable. But guess what? The Steelers are starting to go down the road, almost the exact same road with Russell Wilson than we did with Big Ben. Almost the exact same road. It's eerily similar. Are you going to bring a quarterback back on this team who's in his late 30s? His best days are behind him. He's washed up. He doesn't offer anything for the offense anymore, and you're going to miss out on another potential quarterback draft class when you have a younger quarterback who can learn, who has been learning under a veteran quarterback, and you brought him in the offseason. Because we all know that if Russell Wilson doesn't get hurt, okay, Justin Fields never sees the field this season. Omar Khan, you cannot make the same mistake that the Steelers made with Big Ben. If you can scout as much as this fan base says that you can, then this should be a no-brainer for you, regardless of what happens in the playoffs by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not that I'm saying that we're going to win a playoff game. I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be another one and done for this team again. But regardless of what happens in the playoffs, cut Russell Wilson, get him out of here, and make Justin Fields the starter next year. And if Justin Fields shows that he's not the guy, well, then guess what, Omar? You have some hard decisions to make as far as Justin Fields goes and as far as the future of this franchise goes. You're going to have to make some pretty hard decisions. You are the GM, are you not? This is your responsibility right here. Or you can just dig your heels in some more and just go with the narrative and the new standard now that's set in for this franchise. I'm really starting to doubt this guy because, like I said, I was a big fan of Omar Khan. I thought it was a justified in-house promotion, and I'm not a fan of those whatsoever. I thought it was justified, but now I'm really starting to doubt this guy. Unbelievable. Then you got Arthur Smith. I mean, this offense, man, it has gone completely stale. You go from 24 points a game with Russell Wilson as your quarterback for 2/3 of the season, and now you get 57 points total in a 4-game losing streak. You're averaging, you're averaging a little over 14 points a game. The Baltimore Ravens can get 14 points in 2 drives. They can get that many points in 2 drives than the Steelers can get in an entire game in the last 4 games. Now, how sad is that? And I understand that the playbook is a little bit limited because Russell Wilson, ironic that he's known as Mr. Unlimited, but his playbook is so limited because of our freaking offensive coordinator who can't add more of a variety, because that's what Arthur Smith is starting to remind me of. He is Matt Canada with more of a variety. That's all Arthur Smith is. 1 year as the offensive coordinator, and I'm already done with this guy. How pathetic. There should be no excuse for Arthur Smith to not have a good playbook and a good game plan on offense when you have Justin Fields potentially starting when he fits your scheme way better than Russell Wilson does. The red zone offense with Russ has been terrible as well. The point is, Justin Fields can add something to this offense that Russell Wilson can't at this point. Fields is young. Fields can use his legs. Sure, Fields may not be able to stretch the field as much anymore, and that's why he probably got benched, but that's the thing. How do you know that for sure without giving him his opportunity for real? Because we all know the only reason that Justin Fields saw any playing time at all is because Russell Wilson was hurt to start the year. You take that injury away from him, Fields has no playing time at all. And guess what? When Fields was out on the field, I thought he did okay. Sure, he had a couple of hiccups here and there, but guess what? 10 total touchdowns with Justin Fields, 5 of them on the ground. And if you're going to be playing the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card, hey, Arthur, unless you've been living under a rock, what kind of quarterback is Lamar Jackson? A dynamic running quarterback who can make a good throw as well? A generational talent? I mean, I'm not saying Justin Fields can match Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying that at all. But at least try to fight fire with fire a little bit as far as offense goes, because that's something that Justin Fields can add to this offense. And on top of that, the personnel decisions have been awful as well. Like, why is Van Jefferson getting more snaps than Mike Williams? What is the point for trading for Mike Williams at the deadline if you're going to barely use him? Has Van Jefferson shown that he's more of a reliable target than Mike Williams? Has Van Jefferson shown that he's reliable, period, on this team? The running back tosses to Najee Harris, yeah, that's never failed before. That was on full display last night. How about the moonshot passes on 3rd and short when all you need is 1 or 2 yards to pick up a first down? And then the comedy of errors that took place in the second quarter of last night's game. The Steelers had not 1, not 2, but 3 tries to get a single yard for a first down, and they couldn't get 1 bleeping yard. You do it with a Jaylen Warren run, can't do it there. You get it with a Najee Harris run, can't do it there. Then you try and QB sneak it with Russ, can't do it there. You go for it on 4th down. Instead of trying to QB sneak it again, you just run it up. You just try to run it to the other side. Oh, man. Oh, this guy is absolutely clueless. What a joke. But you know Arthur Smith isn't going to go anywhere. Yes, we've heard rumors that the Jets might hire him as a head coach, but we know Arthur Smith is not leaving Pittsburgh. He's going to be here until the bare minimum of 2026. What a joke. 1 frickin' yard and you can't get it on 3 tries. That's how sad this offense is. And yet, instead of making a change, they're just going to roll with the same crap that's been happening for weeks now. Yes, I know Russell Wilson's the quarterback that got you to the playoffs. But don't you think that when your offense is stale and it's predictable and Justin Fields can add an element to the offense that Russ can't anymore, that you should maybe make a change as far as the QB spot goes? How about our other defensive coordinator in Terrell Austin? Terrell Austin, I mean, this dude, he's just another Keith Butler, plain and simple. Guy's been here since 2018, and he's been the defensive coordinator since 2022, and the defense just continues to slump. Late season slump after late season slump after late season slump. It's as if Keith Butler never left the defensive coordinator spot. Why are we still putting linebackers on receivers? Why is Corey Trice going one-on-one with Jamar Chase? Why is the zone defense still god-awful and everyone is still stationary out there, letting guys run right past them and blown coverages and miscommunications? This is the reason why Brian Flores should never have been gone from this franchise. This is why, at the very least, Brian Flores should be the defensive coordinator with this team. Personally, I want him to be the head coach of the team. But this is why, if you can't get rid of you-know-who, Flores should be the defensive coordinator, at the very least. And look what Flores is doing up in Minnesota. The Vikings are 14-2, on the verge of getting the number 1 seed in the NFC. And the defense that he's put up there, brilliant scheme after brilliant scheme, shutting down some of the most potent offenses in the league. And yet he's the guy that we let him walk. And this all revolves around Mike Tomlin. I mean, do you really think Chuck Noll would sit back and tolerate the BS that Tomlin has? Do you really think that Bill Cowher would tolerate the BS that Tomlin has? Did Chuck Noll go in the locker room and go like, yeah, guys, let's get 8 wins. Yeah, guys, let's get 9 wins. Yeah, guys, let's not finish under 500 and get our asses kicked in the first round of the playoffs. Was that Bill Cowher's mindset? No. Chuck Noll set a standard for this franchise that was tough defense, kick your ass type of defense, and getting it done on offense as well. And that's why the Steelers won 4 Super Bowls in the 70s. And Bill Cowher, he came in, took over a burnout team in 1992. And all Bill Cowher did was take that burnout team and made them into a powerhouse in the 90s. Made it to the Super Bowl in 95. Neil O'Donnell cost us that game with his 2 boneheaded interceptions. And then we won it 10 years later with Big Ben as QB. Cowher won with junk. Cowher won with scrubs at quarterback. Okay, maybe Cordell Stewart and Tommy Maddox weren't scrubs to say per se, but you get the point. Cowher had way less than what Tomlin had at QB all these years. And the Steelers were a force to be reckoned with for a long time under Bill Cowher. What did Mike Tomlin get? Waltzed into a situation where he had a Super Bowl team that was already built up, and you had a young quarterback that was just about to enter his prime. You had a top 2 defense in the league, at the very least a top 2 defense in the league. You had a team that was a year removed from being a Super Bowl champion, and Tomlin completely tarnished it. And for those Tomlin stands that go down in the comments and go like, well, Mac, Mike Tomlin took control of an 8-8 team in 2007. Get the fuck out of here with that. If you think that 06 Steeler team was truly an 8-8 team, you are delusional. Okay? The reason the Steelers went 8-8 in 06 is because Big Ben got in a motorcycle accident in that offseason, and he played basically injured the whole year. And it tampered with it. It messed up his mentality on the field. And the defense suffered injuries throughout the season as well. The fact that team even won 8 games is incredible. Okay? They had a massive Super Bowl hangover that year. That Steeler team started off 2-6, and it looked like they could potentially be the worst defending champion of all time. But you know what? Cowher's like, you know what? We're not tanking. We're still going to make a run at this. And the Steelers went 6-2 the rest of the way. Didn't make the playoffs, but the fact that that team went 8-8 with the season that they had is incredible, because that was a Super Bowl team, bar none, that had a Super Bowl hangover. And then Cowher decided to call it a career, which, fine, it's acceptable. 15 years in the league. I get it. Tomlin did not inherit an 8-8 team. He inherited a Super Bowl team that was built up. And then, after that, he had the most elite offense in the league for 5 years, 3 playoff wins. And now the only reason the Steelers win is because other teams keep screwing up, and we just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and we punctuate off of it. And this is the clown that we're keeping on as head coach. I mean, this is the same guy that benched Justin Fields for Russell Wilson, and he's going to stay with Russell Wilson even though he doesn't offer anything to us anymore. And I would be totally shocked that when the press conference comes out, I hear Tomlin say something to the effect of, well, Justin Fields is going to be taking first-team reps this week. we're not, Russell Wilson is not going to be the quarterback. We're going to have, well, maybe not that. We're going to have Fields take first team reps, and I'll have a final decision out by Friday, and we'll see. And I'll make my decision come game time. I'll see who's going to be the starter for our wild card game. I will be incredibly surprised if Tomlin says that, but knowing him, he's going to hold on to Russell Wilson, even though over the past 4 games, and even at some points in the Browns game, which was our last win, by the way, you saw Russell Wilson holding on to the ball too long. You saw him going up against defenders. You saw him not running out of bounds. You saw him not being able to run like he was able to in the past. He's missing guys. He has miscommunication issues. He's taken unnecessary sacks. But this is the guy that our idiot head coach is going to go forward with. And like I said, the only reason that Justin Fields had any playing time at all is because Russell Wilson got benched, or is because Russell Wilson was hurt. And we all knew that Russell Wilson was going to be the guy for Mike Tomlin. He took the gamble with Russell Wilson, paid off early on, but look at what's happened with the offense lately. You think this offense poses a threat? You think this offense can go far? It's a joke. Just relies on the deep shots, just relies on trying to make a play when he has no business trying it to, and then he has the balls to come out and say, well, it's a lack of team effort. No, sir, that's on you. Because after all, a team is only as good as its coach, right? That's a reflection of you. That's a reflection of your shortcomings. You know Justin Fields is better for Arthur Smith's offense, and you're not going to put him in there? Because like I said, not that I think it's going to make a difference anyway, because I still think we're going to lose regardless of who starts a quarterback. But I mean, come on. You got Justin Fields for a reason. Nope, I'm going to have Russell Wilson be the guy because of what he did in the playoffs in the past. How about now? How about fucking now? This is not what you go into the playoffs for. Imagine going into the playoffs just to see what you have at quarterback in your game. What fan base has that mindset? This is what it is. Culture. This is what it is. The standard. Do you realize that the Pittsburgh Steelers have not clinched a playoff spot on our own since 2017? That's right. We have not clinched a playoff spot on our own since 2017. Because 2020, we needed help getting in. We only got in because another team lost. And then 2021, 2023, and this year, we got in the playoffs because we needed help getting in. And even going further, in 2015, even then, we needed help getting in the playoffs. And then how about 2012, 2018, and 2019? All those years we missed the playoffs, we would have needed help getting in. Never winning in, never win or another team loses. It's always we need help. Is that the Steeler way? Is that what Chuck Noll built up in the 70s? Is that what Bill Cowher perfected in the 90s? Like, let me put it to you guys like this. When was the last time that you genuinely were afraid to go up against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs? Not even in the playoffs. When was the last time that you were genuinely afraid to go up against the Steelers in general? The last time that I can imagine was probably 2018. Do you really think that this team is going to make a deep playoff run? Do you really think that we're going to beat the Ravens just because, oh, well, John Harbaugh can lose a playoff game just as badly as Mike Tomlin can? It's incredible. It's incredible how low this fan base's standards have fallen. And even if we don't win, which I doubt we're gonna win. Oh well, we overachieved. It was a 10-win season. Like I said, the past three at least the past 3 seasons, we overachieved with those teams. And we should have finished under 500 in those 3 seasons. And this offseason, we supposedly fixed up the team in the offseason, and we finished with the same record as last year. Oh, but if we move on from Mike Tomlin, get ready for losing seasons. Yeah, that's all Tomlin fans have to say now. Losing seasons, losing seasons, losing seasons. You know what fan bases would be happy to just finish over 500? Jacksonville, Vegas, Chicago, Carolina, the Jets, the Giants. I'd put the Browns up there at this point. Those are fan bases that would be happy to just finish over 500. Fans that don't have as much, that haven't had as much success, and fans of teams that have been at the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. This is not a fan base that should be settling for that. It just isn't. Do you think in the Patriots dynasty, do you think Patriots fans were going like, yeah, let's have a winning season? Do you think Chiefs fans nowadays are going like, yeah, let's have a winning season? You think 49ers fans in the 80s were like, yeah, let's have a winning season? You think Cowboys fans in the 90s were like, yeah, let's have a winning season? You think Packers fans are looking forward to a winning season every year? You know what? All those, even nowadays, you think Baltimore Ravens fans now with the team that they have, do you think their standard is just finishing above 500? You know what all of those franchises have in common? They all would have fired Tomlin years ago with the playoff meltdowns that the Steelers have had. They would have. But guess which franchise doesn't fire him? There is no way a franchise can be this complacent for this long unless it's ownership. And that's all there is to it. If someone were to tell me, hey, Mac, the Bengals are only going to have 19 points on Saturday, they're only going to have 1 touchdown. The only touchdown they had was on their first drive of the game. That's it. We held them to 4 field goals the rest of the game. If someone were to tell me, Mac, the Bengals are only going to have 19 points, I would have loved our chances of winning. Instead, we still lost. Yeah, talk about a sense of urgency right there, huh? Are you tired of losing, Mike? Are you sick and tired of losing? No one believes you anymore. So I'm pretty sure that the Steelers will have another 9-win season in 2025. The fan bases, the Tomlin fans will continue to blow off of him and continue to, praise him. I mean, Mike, I have never seen a more glorified loser in any sport than Mike Tomlin. I really haven't. I guess the playoffs just mean nothing. I guess the Super Bowl is just overrated. I guess winning a Super Bowl, just means nothing. As long as they win those precious 9 or 10 games, that's all that matters, right? Right? It really is sad to see what this franchise has become. One of the most prolific franchises in NFL history have become a laughingstock. They have become a punchline. And I feel bad for Steeler fans that have seen this franchise win a Super Bowl have the glory days, and they have to deal with this BS. And for Steeler fans that are younger, that have, because believe it or not, there are Steeler fans in high school now that have never seen the Steelers win a Super Bowl. It's similar to the Yankees. There are Yankee fans in high school that have never seen the Yankees win a World Series. There are Steeler fans in high school who have not seen the Steelers win a Super Bowl. That is absolutely mind-blowing. I feel bad for those young Steeler fans who never got to see the Steelers win a Super Bowl, who have never seen the Steelers go on a deep playoff run. I feel bad for them because they think that the Steelers have always been a joke. They think the Steelers have always been a laughing stock and a doormat. I feel bad for them. They don't know the history of this franchise. They don't know what the Steelers used to be. And for the older fans, I feel bad for them too, because they could probably remember a time when the Steelers were a laughing stock, and now they got to deal with it again. It really is sad what this franchise has become. So no, I don't expect us to win the wild card game. I don't expect us to win any playoff game. I just expect more of the same. And even if they do win even if they do win next week, all it's going to do is that all it's going to do is just going to be like, yeah, we can still win with Mike Tomlin. Yeah, we can still go on a playoff run with Tomlin. That's all it's going to do. Wow, 40 minutes in. 41 minutes in. Man, if you made it this long, hey, I applaud you. Anyway, I'm just rambling on right now. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.